very small thing. I really want to see what a CPAP machine looks like. And you picked up a photo, you showed it to the front row on the right-hand side, and then it disappeared. And even here, I was trying to see, what is it? So the next time when you give a speech, bring the darn machine and show me what it looks like. And that will, again, make it more connecting, more concrete. I wouldn't pass it around to the audience, but show and tell.
My dad has one of those, and they're not easy to carry around. But maybe the mask you carry around, or actually show us how annoying it is to have this thing by your bed all the time. Might be an interesting aspect of that too. Who else we got here? Oh, two at once. I think Sharon beat you a little bit.
I just wanted to really emphasize the volume part, because I've noticed that in all your speeches, like me, you have this wonderful, soft, low voice, plus the very attractive accent. And so the more you lower the volume, it becomes extremely difficult to hear what you're saying, particularly as you mentioned toward the ends of your statements. So definitely pump it up and open up so we can hear every valuable word that comes out of your lips.
So that makes Jim next.
Yeah, you told us that there are a lot of medical challenges with sleep apnea, but you didn't really emphasize them. You spent most of your time talking about the process itself rather than helping us understand what's going on. I too have sleep apnea, and I know that what happens is that you stop breathing, and you can really die in this moment if you don't get what you told us about, that contact with the brain. So it's very important that in your message that you tell people that, so that they understand what it is, and help people really understand that if they are really snoring an awful lot, maybe that's the signal that they need to get checked. So you had a speech where that was what you were supposed to be doing. So just help people understand it is a very, very critical situation, and help us understand what we can do to help ourselves with that. But I thought your delivery was fine, some of your stories that you gave, but I think you spent too much time with the process, and that's why you ran out of time and were hooked on.
Good thing we didn't have the giant hook here. You have
now I remember my final point.
There it is.
It's very interesting. When we really go through some things in life, we have so many thoughts about the same thing. But there are a couple of things that really make the change, or are the differentiation points in our life, after which, when your curve is like going down, that's the time when you start going up. And when you've talked about impacts, you've talked about your daughter and you in a movie, your daughter saying, you know, are you sleeping, and all those things. You talked about your manager coming and talking with you. You've not talked about an impact which would be really catching for you. Because whenever those things happen, there is some thought process that goes in your mind. That's something you've tried to avoid. And something you may want to just look at, because that's the point which will really resonate with everybody. Because they will see some things in their life where they have that thought too. Thought that nobody really wants to look at. And that's when you will capture the audience. That's my point.
Just a quick point. I think Alain, you did this very well. You made this twice in your speech. You said this affects a lot of Americans. So this makes it relevant to people. I recommend you can even further make it relevant to everyone. You can say, if something affects you, then you need to do some research. Maybe there's already a solution available.
Okay.
One thing I like to do when talking about sleep apnea is how to identify it in your loved ones. And I don't know if you're any good at sound effects, but my favorite is when people can do the snore. It usually sounds like... So maybe something like that to add a little more humor, to make us kind of laugh at you and to enjoy what the suffering that you went through, being a little bit more accurate. So thank you for that, Alain. Hopefully all of us will now know, if we hear this in our loved ones, what to do.
Alain, when you talked about the condition that affects a lot of American, you need to add the S to make a lot of Americans. There was a tendency in your speech to use I was able to, I was used to, and I am a culprit of that, and I was advised to just use the verb in the past tense. So I was able to sleep is just I slept through the night. And in Alain's speech you said you put this mask, you put on this mask, or put this mask on your face. So don't forget that little word that connects it, gives more context to it.
Alain was 9:38 for a 7-minute speech, and I think he was avoiding me. I stood up and started clapping, and he just needed to keep your eye on time. I'm on your side. I'm not against you.